Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Emily and I make YouTube videos about books and about beauty. So today we're going to be doing my September reading wrap up, and I'm going to be chatting with you about the 3 audiobooks that I finished in the month of September.
Honey?
So if you don't know, I am a 4th grade teacher, so September is the month of back to school, so it is usually a very busy month, and as always, I didn't get the chance to read very much this month because any moment that I was not spent working on lesson plans or teaching my kids, I was spent kind of vegging out in front of Criminal Minds on my laptop. But I did manage to finish 3 different audiobooks this month because I listen to audiobooks if I go for a walk, I listen to them in the shower, I listen to them while I get ready. Basically, if I have some downtime by myself, I will be listening to an audiobook. So the first audiobook I finished is Survivor Song by Paul Tremblay. And that book was definitely a choice to listen to in the middle of a pandemic. Because it is about a virus that sweeps the Northeast, and it is in this book it's a rabies-like virus. So it is spread from, saliva, and it is kind of like a super rabies with like a fast onset. And so it's sort of a zombie apocalypse kind of novel, but also hits a little closer to home because of the state of the world right now. So it follows a woman named Natalie who is pregnant and who gets exposed to the virus, and one of her really close friends is a pediatrician, so she goes to her for help, and Romola, her friend, and Natalie are, trying to get Natalie the help that she needs. So it's basically the story of, it's like this intense adventure story of them trying to get to the hospital, trying to avoid being further exposed or infected, dealing with militias that are out and about, and all of that kind of stuff that would come along with a quickly onset super rabies virus. So I really liked this book. It was really interesting, and it was a good story, and it definitely, I'm not sure if I would recommend reading it right now, but if you are interested, I think it is a great story. So the second audiobook I finished this month is The Night Child by Anna Quinn, and this book was one that I just picked up on a whim. The synopsis sounded interesting, so I listened to the audio from my library, and wow, this book should come with the biggest boatload of trigger warnings of all time. It has childhood sexual abuse, incest, what else? There's if you have trouble with dissociative identity disorder, psych wards, any of that kind of stuff. I've got the full list of everything I think you should be warned about in my Goodreads review, so I'll link that down below. But yeah, it's an intense, dark book, and it is not exactly what I was expecting, but I did really enjoy the story, and I really liked the characters. So this story is about a woman named Nora who teaches high school English, and she really thinks of herself as just a normal person, but she's been having some stress, her marriage is having some difficulties, and then one day she sees a hallucination of a child's face, a little child's face in her classroom when it's empty. And that totally freaks her out because she has never seen herself as somebody who would have hallucinations. That's like something that would happen to other people. It doesn't happen to her. So after it kind of keeps happening a couple of times and is really starting to freak her out, she decides to go to therapy. And when she's in therapy, they kind of uncover some stuff about her past that she is pretty much refusing to believe, but also it's ringing a little bit true. So it's kind of the story of her, self-discovery of repressed memories and of a traumatic childhood, while also kind of coming to grips with her own child and her marriage falling apart and taking care of her child when she's the same age as when something bad happened to Nora. So like I said, dark, intense book and not what I expected, but it was good and I did enjoy listening to it. And the third and final book that I finished this month was the star of the show, and this is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. And I have truly not picked up a fantasy book in a really long time. When I was a kid, read a lot of fantasy, but I kind of go through phases with my reading genres, and I just, after reading the whole Harry Potter series a million times, reading basically every book that Gail Carson Levine ever put out and every book that Cornelia Funke ever put out, I was just kind of, didn't read a whole lot of fantasy. And I feel like a lot of fantasy that's written for adults just has a lot of themes and topics and ways the story is told that I just don't vibe with. So I just haven't picked a lot of it up. But the synopsis on this one was intriguing. And I think it was partly because I was browsing the what's available in mystery thriller section of my library's audiobook app that really caught my eye. And this was definitely like a thrilling fantasy novel. And what I really loved about it was the 3 strong female leads that kind of narrate most of the story. It changes back and forth in narration and you get to hear from a lot of different characters, but there are the 3 main leads that are all strong, independent, hardworking, accomplished, and kind of stereotype breaking women. So it takes place in what is essentially kind of like a feudal Russia kind of society where there are the peasants and the noble people in the city, and there is also the Staric, and they are a race of ice fairies, kind of. But anyways, our story follows a girl named Miriam, who her father is a moneylender, but he is a bad moneylender because he's too kind, too generous, and so he never collects on his debts. When people are saying, oh, I don't have the money right now, he says, okay, just get it to me when you have it, and they just he's basically a pushover. And Miriam, as she grows up, is tired of always being hungry while other people are spending away the money they have lent and refusing to pay it back. So when she becomes, kind of a teenager, a young woman, she decides to take over her father's business. And she is cold, hardens her heart, and goes to people's doorsteps and refuses to move unless they pay her what she's owed. So she ends up, making a prosperous life for them when they've really always lived in poverty. So through this, she meets Wanda, who is a poor girl whose father is indebted to Miriam's father, and to help pay off that debt, Wanda comes to work in Miriam's house. And Wanda kind of becomes really important to their family, and more than just like a servant that they're paying, but it starts to become taken care of a little bit more. And while all this is going on, Miriam is becoming wealthier, her family's becoming wealthier, and she finds herself bragging that she can turn silver into gold. And what she means is through, her money lending, her interest gathering, and her shrewd business practices. But the Staric king overhears this, and the Staric are known for wreaking havoc by causing winter, and also raiding cities to come steal gold. So he hears this boast, and he sets Miriam an absolutely impossible challenge of having to turn his Staric silver into gold. So that happens, and then I don't want to spoil anything, but I will tell you that things don't go the way Miriam expects, and they also don't go the way the Staric king expects. And I said we've got 3 strong female leads, right? So we've got Miriam, we've got Wanda, and then there's also Irina, who is the daughter of a duke, and she gets married off to the Tsar. And she, at first is just kind of like, okay, whatever, that's like my lot in life as a nobleman's daughter. I just get married off to whoever makes the most advantageous move. But then she learns that the Tsar is not exactly who he says he is. He's got some deep, dark secrets that are really threatening the whole kingdom. And Irina is very much she takes on that Tsarina crown, and she becomes very focused on helping her people. She really takes that role seriously. So those 3 women, through some stuff I can't exactly tell you because this is a long book and there's a lot that I feel like I just already told you about the first half of the book without telling you all the details, but over the course of the book, these 3 women have to ally with each other to help save their kingdom. And the Staric king and that secret that the Tsar has end up becoming kind of the adversaries in the story. So I really don't want to spoil it, and I know it's a long book, but it really blew me away, and it's a great story. And I think that if you're like me and you read Gail Carson Levine's books as a kid, and you're looking for similar, kind of fairy tales with strong female characters and that you can really get behind and interesting conflicts, I think you would really love this book. So those are the 3 audiobooks that I finished reading in the month of September. I would love it if you left a comment down below and told me about what you read this month, or if you read any of the books that I talked about, what you thought about them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications before you go. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.